Good morning, everyone. My name's Stephen with the Flint Genesee Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome you to our next webinar in the Support Flint Genesee webinar series, Michigan Small Business Relief Program. We're joined today by Tyler Rossmessler. He's our Director of Economic Development here at the Chamber. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Tyler.
Good morning. Thanks, Stephen. Thank you for this opportunity to talk about the the Michigan Small Business Relief Program. I'm going to just jump right into it. The purpose of the Small Business Relief Program is to provide Michigan small businesses with access to some working capital. The program has two lanes, if you will. They have a grant and a loan program. So I'm going to cover each one of those, and then we'll get to some questions that you may have. So first up, just real quick about the loan or about the whole program itself. The state of Michigan set aside $20 million to support small businesses statewide that were negatively affected by COVID-19. The funding was divided into two, $10 million for grants and $10 million for loans. And this is $10 million for the whole state. Some quick facts about the grant program. Genesee County has a total of $260,000 appropriated for our small businesses. The maximum grant allowed is $10,000. Funds will be available on or about April 1st. We're working really hard to that deadline. And then eligible uses are working capital. So they're able to support payroll, rent, mortgage, utilities, other similar expenses. To qualify for the grant program, your company has to have 50 employees or less, needs working capital, is in an industry outlined in Executive Order 2020 or any subsequent 2029, excuse me, or any subsequent executive order, or can demonstrate it was affected by COVID-19. So real quick on that bullet, this program was designed when we were only on Executive Order 2029. Now we're on 2021. Since then, all those, the stay home, stay safe executive order has affected a lot more than the original restaurants that were shut down, and then tattoo parlors and salons. Now, a lot of companies are outlined in the executive orders, and even more companies can demonstrate they were affected by COVID-19. So that's a pretty broad bullet there. And then also you have to qualify by supporting impacted employees, or you're located in a downtown district or a high impact corridor. Again, this is a statewide program. They're trying to leave it broad. High impact corridor is left up to interpretation. I'm thinking commercial corridors or downtowns is how we can think about that. And then provide support to impacted employees. So if you're a company that's keeping your employees on despite your closure, that would also qualify you. Some quick facts about the loan program. This is a pretty exciting program that doesn't get as much attention as the grant program. There are $10 million available statewide, and loans are available $50,000 to $250,000. The interest rate is 0.25% per year, very low. And for the first 60 months, the payments are interest only. And then the second 60 months of the loan are fully amortized. So you're paying principal and interest in the second 60 months. So you have 120 months together to pay off this loan, and the first 5 years are interest only. Eligible uses, again, working capital, so payroll, rent, mortgages, utility expenses, and other similar expenses. Qualifications for the loan are a little bit different than the grant. You have to have 100 employees or less. need working capital, affected by the executive orders or by COVID-19, and again, provides impacted employees support or located in a downtown district or high impact corridor. So a little bit about the program's process and timeline. There's grants and loans, but there's one application. And you can in the application, you're able to explain if you're going to go for the grant or the loan. So if you want to download the Excel application, it's available on our website at this long email or long web address on your screen. But no, if you go to flintandgenesee.org, click on the coronavirus resources, and then you'll be able to find it. Navigate to small business relief, and you'll find it there. So you'll fill out the application. Because we're working on this April 1st deadline, we ask that you complete your application by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So you'll have all day today, all day tomorrow, all day Sunday to fill out the application, and email it to mirelief@flintandgenesee.org. We will collect all the applications and then present them to a regional panel who will determine the grantees. And then the grantees will sign a grant agreement via DocuSign. So you have to make sure that if you're applying for these grants or loans, that you can fill out an Excel file and that you are going to be comfortable working with DocuSign. And then we're going to get the funds transferred to you on or about April 1st. So with that, it was very quick. Let me actually first, I'm going to show you what the application looks like so that you have a reference of that. So this is the Excel file that is the application. If you look down here at the bottom, there are two tabs, qualification and application. So the qualifications, you have to go through and answer these questions to ensure that you meet the qualifications that I described in the PowerPoint. And then you'll click on application. And inside the application, they're asking for a few things. You know, what's the name of your business? What type of entity are you? Do you have multiple locations? Then they want to get into describe what your business does and when you were established. Are you a current client of the Small Business Development Center? That's one thing they're interested in. Do you own or do you lease? How long have you owned or leased? Have you ever filed bankruptcy? Have you applied for any other state or federal grant programs? A real quick note on that. If you are applying for the SBA loan programs or any federal programs, that does not disqualify you for the state program. They're completely separate. You can apply for both. So don't fret about that. In fact, everyone should be applying for the federal programs because they're very, very powerful. And then they want to know about your employment information. So how many people do you have on staff? What March 16th is when really everything went down. So how many employees did you have that day and how many employees do you have today? And we want to see the effect there. Then they're going to get into your revenue. They'd like you to submit a copy of your P&L statements for each year, 17, 18, and 19. And then it gets into lost revenue. So moving past March 16th, telling us how much your business is affected. And then what are your immediate needs? Do you have to pay your rent? Do you have to pay your mortgage, your payroll, your debt service on other loans, etc. With that, I'll just quickly show you the website on the Chamber's website. Excuse me 1 second. So if you click to the Chamber's website, let me just start over. I'll show you how to get here. You come to the Chamber's website, click on resources, this big virus. Then you'll see here, Small Business Relief Program, and that will bring you to this website where it gives you an overview. It reminds you of the deadline. It shows you the email address to email your application to, and then a little bit about the grant, a little bit about the loan, and then the application here. And what we've done is we tried to do a quick little logic model to make sure that you know if you qualify or not. And if you answer these questions correctly, you'll be able to download the application. So with that, I will now take some questions. So what I'll do is I'll just read the questions that we have in our Q&A. And
Tyler, will you back it up to the timeline slide that you had?
Yeah, that's a great point. Let me do that. How about I answer questions with this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so two questions from Paul. Can you apply for both the grant and the loan? You can only apply for the grant or the loan of the state programs. You can apply for the federal loan and the state loan, or the federal loan and the state grant. So while at whatever level of government you have to choose, but you don't have to choose between the levels of government, if that makes sense. Paul also asks, there was discussion of HR 748, the CARES Act, that said businesses that take SBA loans would be disqualified for the tax credit. Is this loan program a part of the CARES Act? No, this is a state program. The CARES Act is a federal program. Can you confirm if we would be disqualified for the tax credit by taking the loan? I'm not comfortable confirming that. I don't know. I'm not qualified to really speak on it at this point. It's not passed the House, and I would consult a legal expert on that. Again, another question. You said downtown business or high traffic. Yeah, 3 qualifications. Any one of the 3. 1, you supported your business, your employees. Excuse me. You supported your employees, or you're in a downtown, or you're in a high impact corridor. Will qualify you for this loan.
And Tyler, just a point of information. On the homepage, if you look on the right, you can cut right to the program. If you want to flip back to the web to show everybody.
Okay, we'll do that.
Katie brought that to my attention.
Thanks, Katie. So if I go to the homepage.
Yep.
And then, oh, it's right here. It's this little file right here, the Michigan Small Business Relief Program. Click on that and it'll bring you right to it. Thank you, Katie, for pointing that out. Okay, back to the questions. This person is just saying, are we qualified in Flint Township? Yes, there are high impact corridors in Flint Township. Absolutely. There's high impact corridors all over the county. And if you're supporting your employees, you also qualify. We own a barber shop and our barbers are all self-employed. They pay us a chair rent. This rental income covers our expenses. Do we qualify for the program? Yes, you qualify for the program because you're a business that has less than 50 employees. My bet is that those barbers are not your employees, as you described. They're self-employed. So just make sure when you're answering questions about how many employees you have, that it doesn't include your barbers. Okay, more questions. Yeah, Stephen.
Tyler, 2 things. If folks are watching on Facebook Live, you can submit your questions there. We're monitoring those as well. And then I see another one here in the chat. Are P&Ls submitted with the application, or will they ask for it at a different time?
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. They are submitted attached to the email with the Excel file application and your P&Ls. Okay, Stephen, feel free to jump in and just tell me if I'll just keep answering the questions here in Zoom, and if there are other questions or chats, let me know, okay?
Yep.
This person says, I own 2 businesses that do the same thing, but just run them with different names and different finances. Since bottom line affects me and small amount of workers I have, can the loss of income and operating expenses be combined, or would they have to be separate? Each applicant has to be an individual business. So unless there's like some type of holding company that owns all these businesses, you're going to have to apply as each entity. My family and my elderly parents do not have access to technology online, nor know to use the technology required to complete the app and then request sign in to DocuSign. How can I help them through this new age process? If you can fill out the online the Excel file for them and help them through it, that would be a way to do that. Other than that, I understand it's difficult. It's the quarantining requirements that make us have to do it through these new technologies. We have only had our ownership. Another question. We have only had ownership of our business since January 2020. How should we handle P&L? You should submit what you have. And if you can explain that the business has been in operation for more than just since January 2020, or if you have P&Ls from then, that would be ideal. So those are the questions on Zoom. Stephen, any other questions that I should be answering?
Couple things. One question, can someone from the chamber fill it out for them on their behalf?
We're not going to be doing that, unfortunately. We just have too many applications.
Okay, and another question from Facebook. What if you do not have employees, but you have a brick and mortar business that had to close? Can those funds be used to replace the income you are losing?
You can apply, yes. The grant and loan is not for revenue or income necessarily. And so it's what it is for immediate working capital needs. So if you have a brick and mortar building that has a mortgage, you need to pay that mortgage. But it's not a grant that's just available for, I was expecting this much in revenue and now I didn't get it. It's for, immediate working needs.
And then I have another one from Tracy Tucker. Hi, Tracy. I see that the DDA area qualifies. Would a CIA area qualify? Can I get a map of the areas that qualify to place on our website or a listing?
Yeah, there are no maps, but CIA, which is a commercial improvement, I forget what it stands for, not for Central Intelligence Agency, but it's another type of commercial improvement area. And that would qualify. The high impact corridor definition is meant to be vague, and I think you can just assume anyone who's in a corridor that is in a DDA or is in a CIA or is in any other high impact corridor. Maybe it's along a freeway, at a freeway exit or whatever. I think we can make that case pretty easily. They're trying to make it vague and open, in my opinion.
A couple more. If we are not approved for the grant, can we then apply for the loan?
The deadline is for 11:59 Sunday. So I would recommend that you pick one and apply for it that way.
Is the grant maxed at $10,000?
The grant is maxed at $10,000, and we only have 260,000 for the whole county. So if we got all $10,000 grants, that would be 26 grants.
Tracy, Corridor Improvement Authority.
Corridor Improvement Authority, that's right.
Yeah. And then there's another one in the Q&A, Tyler, if you can see it.
Okay, thank you. Yes, new one. Is there a way to place the application online to upload proof of loss of revenue where we have to show proof, or is it just giving a number of loss? Will amount of loss be determining factor who gets the grant? Unfortunately, there's nowhere to upload the application. you have to email it to mirelief@flintandgenesee.org. Showing proof of loss. It's hard to show proof of loss right now. But if you have supporting documents, you could attach them to that email that show maybe customers that have canceled orders or things like that. Will the amount of loss be a determining factor in who gets the grant? Yes, it will be a determining factor. Lots of things will be determining factor, but that will be one of the determining factors. Yes.
Did you see the one, Tyler? I run a law firm. Did you catch that one?
Oh, Mary. Yes, here it is. 17 a.m. Mary says, I run a law firm. We're working remotely. We have working capital now, but we'll need working capital within 6 weeks. At this point, should I apply now because I anticipate loss of business income? Yeah, so right now, as far as we know from the state of Michigan, this is only a one-time effort. There might be additional ones. I cannot tell. What I would recommend is just if you are have working capital now, that you talk with your bank on a line of credit and make sure that's up and running so that you'll have it, and that you look at the SBA loans, because I think that's going to be a better fit for you if you are working on a 6-week timeline. I think the grant and loans from the state of Michigan are going to go with people who are working on a 2-week or less timeline.
Another one, Tyler, can I use my Schedule C for my P&L?
The application asks for the P&L, so I would give a P&L rather than your Schedule C.
And then there was, of course, a question, are we sending this information out to chamber members? Yes. Once this recording is concluded, we're going to get it up on the site and then figure out some additional ways to get the information out as quick as possible because of the very short timeline.
Yep. And if there's any other questions you have, you can feel free to reach out to me. Put my contact up there again, or Stephen, or Tracy Joseph. If you've worked with Tracy before, tjoseph@flintandgenesee.org is also very involved on this program.
Tyler, another question. What about the Family First Coronavirus Response Act? That will impact our business as a loss. It goes into effect April 1st.
Yep. If it hasn't impacted you as of March 16th, I would apply for the SBA loan rather than the state grant or state loan program. Okay.
We'll linger for another few seconds for any last minute questions. Our team's been working real hard. My phone's blown up with all the questions from Facebook.
Good. Well, thanks everyone.
I'm not seeing anything else. So thank you all for joining us. As I said,
I might have one more. Just came in. Royce.
There it is.
Asks, we were shut down March 16th. We do not have working capital to simply pay employees when they are not working. We encourage them to file for unemployment. How does this affect us? You can apply for this loan or this grant. You can apply to this program. If you had to lay off or give temporary leave to your employees, that will be a part of the consideration, but it sounds like you were negatively affected immediately. Then one more. Did I understand you right? We can apply for this one and the SBA loan. Yes, you can apply for the state grant and loan program and the SBA loan. One is from the state taxes and one is from the federal, and they're not they don't disqualify for either. You don't disqualify.
Tyler, another question.
Yeah, some of them do not qualify for unemployment. What is support for employees? Some employers have chosen to continue to pay for their employees even though they're no longer working. So that's what they're getting at. Go ahead, Stephen.
Lapeer County applies through the chamber as well. Is that correct?
Nope, Lapeer County goes through Lapeer County. The Lapeer Development Corporation. I don't know their website off the top of my hand, but Quentin Bishop is organizing the Lapeer County applications.
And Tracy Tucker asked if we could send it to her directly. So we'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Let me check. Any other questions? I'm not seeing any. As I said, Tyler, anything before we close out?
We're here to help. I know it's really tough out there, and my heart goes out to you. We're trying to do whatever we can to help you out, and hopefully you found this information helpful.
As I said, if you visit flintgenesee.org, oh wait, I think I have one. Here we go. Another question. If I continue to pay employees with no income coming in, does that open me up to be eligible for other assistance that I wouldn't otherwise be eligible for?
If you're continuing to pay employees, say that again, Stephen.
If I continue to pay employees with no income coming in, does that open me up to be eligible for other assistance? And the second question to that I wouldn't be eligible for otherwise, instead of doing the layoffs.
Yeah. I'm not 100%. I don't anticipate just because you paid employees with no income being eligible for new programs, meaning no revenue. So if I have a certain amount of savings, but I'm paying my employees out of that, but I'm not earning revenue right now, will that qualify me for new programs that I wouldn't have otherwise? This program wants to see if you're supporting your employees in the short term or not. One definition could be paying them, continuing to pay them, or maybe paying them at a reduced rate, or maybe providing childcare, or however you're supporting your employees. It's left for interpretation. But I don't know that it's going to qualify. Just because you did that, it will qualify you for a different program now or in the future. I hope that answers the question.
And one more thing came in the Q&A, Tyler.
Okay. Last question here. The support, I don't see any more.
Did you
What
get
is
the
what is support for employees? Like I said, could be paying your employees, or it could be giving them a reduced rate, or it could be covering their health care, or it could be providing child support, child care, anything like that.
Okay, now I think we're good. As Tyler said, we're all here to answer your questions. If you visit flintandgenesee.org/toolkit, that's where you can find where we're posting webinars like these and the other resources available to all of you. Tyler, if you don't have anything else, we'll close out. As soon as we're able to, we'll get it posted up. Another question. Will there be another webinar on this topic? Do you anticipate another conversation on SBA, or what do you think, Tyler?
I think things are changing with the SBA, so we may do another SBA webinar. Probably won't do another webinar on this program. The recording will be available, but this one's going to be due on Sunday. So between now and Sunday, this will be the only webinar. But the SBA, yeah, I think there might be a need for another webinar on that, just because things are changing. New programs are coming online, and some of the recent legislation is putting more money into different pots. So we will, as we get that more clear, we'll do another webinar on that.
And we have others scheduled. You can visit our website on the events calendar. We're also sharing them on our Facebook page under the events section. Tyler, I've got another question. This is fine. If they keep coming in, we're scheduled for an hour.
Okay.
I'm going to read it to you. Jumped in late. Is the Excel file to be sent by Sunday evening for the grant and the loan?
Yep. There's a way to distinguish what you want to apply for in the one application, the grant or the loan.
Second part to it, how is it determined which you are applying for.
There's a way to say.
Okay.
And for example, if you're applying for more than $10,000, then we know right away you're applying for the loan.
Okay. Great. We're going to get this info out as fast as we can. Thanks for joining us, Tyler. Thank you.
Yep.
See you guys soon.